Well, guys, here we are. Here we are for a video which I didn't think I was actually going to make. Which I thought, you know what, I'm not going to lower myself to actually see the film in question that you can see in the title and in the thumbnail of this video. But August has been a pretty slow month, or rather, in terms of films. I did go to the cinema a couple of times, whatever, to see some films that were relatively okay. I have this thing where I have a cinema card where basically, as long as I see like 2 films a month, basically I don't need to pay for any other films that I go see in that month. It's basically like a kind of like you pay a fee monthly or whatever. Technically the cost covers 2 films at least per month, and then after that you can see as many films as you want and you're technically not paying for it. So this was like maybe my 3rd film for this month, so you know what, I was saying, you know what, to hell with it, I'm technically not paying for it, so I guess you can, at least I can say I'm not giving them Sony any of my money, but that's an error that I'm never getting back from my life. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you still haven't like properly taken in the title and the thumbnail of this video, I sat through the Emoji movie, the film that has critically been pandered, and yet, despite that, that's making loads of money, obviously, from all the casuals going to go and see it, and everything like that. Literally, I have not heard a single person say that they've liked this film, and I couldn't help but think to myself, even after all the reviews I've seen, is it really that bad? Is it really that terrible? How bad could a freaking movie about emojis be? Well, I sat through that thing. It was barely an hour long. I'm going to add that. It was barely an hour long. I'm not quite sure how they managed to even stretch the plot of it that thin. They even managed to get it to over an hour. I think it was actually an hour and 10 minutes long. It might be a little bit more, but I swear it was no more than maybe, say, it was no more than an hour and a half. Anyway, it wasn't, definitely, because I was checking the time, whatever, because I had somewhere to be at a specific time. So I thought, this film's going to be short enough where I'm going to be able to squeeze in and not have it impede on my day. So I sat there. I thought it was going to be pretty empty considering all the pandering, or rather, not pandering, or rather all the deadpan reviews it's been getting. Basically, it's been like hammering it to the cross or whatever. It's like dying because it deserves it, not because it's dying for our sins. And I thought, you know what, it's going to be empty because nobody's going to take their child, surely, to see this film. Well, I was dead wrong. The cinema was actually packed. The screening that I was in pretty much nearly sold out. I swear the majority of the seats were filled. A lot of children. There was actually, I believe there was some kind of like play group or something like that. There was like maybe 20 kids like under the age of 6, I would think, all clambering in or whatever with their snacks and everything like that. And can I just say, not a single person laughed throughout the whole time that I watched this film. Literally, I'm sat here, and you know, there's like a couple of like, I'm guessing guys my age or whatever, because they're literally just here to try and rip the piss out of it. I know I'm terrible, I'm potty mouth, but literally this film made me so angry. Literally sat behind me trying to find some funny stuff in it, but literally throughout the whole film all I could hear was going, did they really just do that? Did they really just say that? Are they really doing this? And like I was sat here the whole time going, yes, they really are. Not a single child or even person laughed at a single joke or pun or anything that happened. It was almost complete silence, save for the guys that I can hear behind me with their running commentary of the film. I sadly didn't really have anyone to discuss with during this or whatever, but yeah, it was pretty dire and atrocious. And I've heard some people saying from different reviews or whatever that I've seen that the only saving grace of the film was the fact that there was a Hotel Transylvania short before the film. Well, in my cinema showing, I don't know why, I don't know if this is because it's a UK thing, my cinema showing didn't have that short beforehand. There was no Hotel Transylvania short beforehand, so there was no saving grace. The only saving grace I could find was one of the trailers for like that showed before the film was showing the film documenting the life of the writer of Winnie the Pooh, which was like, I'd rather be seeing that film right about now rather than the film that I'm going to subject myself to. It's not even like one of those films where it was so bad it's funny and I could riff on it or I could make terrible puns, whatever, or find some enjoyment out of it. It was just the most laziest and uninspired piece of cinema I have ever seen. And I've seen some pretty bad films. I've seen like The Bye Bye Man. I've seen freaking like even worse films. I mean, I've seen like the recent Alien, which there's a lot of people split. I've seen some pretty terrible stuff. This was simply just bad from on like a couple of totally uninspired, like the animation, right? I know a lot of people have been saying, okay, the animation either looks terrible or it looks clean. I feel like the animation it's just so bland. It is just, you cannot tell this apart from, say, a cinema release animated film or something that's direct to DVD. You wouldn't. There's no like stunning piece of like cinematography. There's no stunning visuals or anything like that that would set this apart from like a straight to DVD film, straight to video, VHS, whatever you want to call it. There's nothing like that in here. Nothing is inspiring. There's nothing creative about it. Like, it's just like so. I feel like I should like. It's been a couple of weeks now, I should think, since it got actually released. I really don't care about having to like not do spoilers or whatever, because you really don't care. You do not care about the Emoji Movie that much, I'm pretty sure, because literally I did not care for it. Literally, I'm sat here thinking, this is just, I'm never getting this hour back. I'm never getting this hour back. Why have we devolved into this? So, the way I could break it down is that they are attempting to cherry pick some plot elements from more popular films and whatnot, and try and cram them all together in the hopes of like squeezing some kind of like plot. Like, it's just terrible. It's absolutely. It's like, okay, so they're taking like the Wreck-It Ralph kind of perspective, where like the emojis are all living beings that live inside the phone. Okay, that's fine. But when they harp on about the emojis being like the most vital piece of communication that humankind has ever created, I'm just like, Sony, who wrote this? Was it someone who was 60 or something like that? Because it's clearly not someone who is young and understanding of the current generation, because nobody thinks that. Nobody thinks that emojis are like the new way to speak to people. It's ridiculous. Like, I feel like they were attempting to be, maybe they were trying to be satirical with the way they were doing it, because literally throughout the whole film, none of the kids can take the phones out of their hands. Literally, they are like literally bumping into each other because they're that busy texting the phones. And then what does someone do? Takes a photo of these people like that are falling over because obviously they bumped into each other. Nobody actually just like talks to each other without the phone. Literally, like this kid or whatever, Alex or whatever, who's the main guy who's got the phone or whatever that the emojis live in. He's like, oh, what emoji should I send to this girl that I like? It's like, first of all, I'm assuming this is a number-based text messaging, because it didn't seem to look like it was a Facebook Messenger or something like that. You clearly have her phone number. You're already in there. You have her. Why do you need to worry about what emoji to send? You've clearly got her number. Like, what? Like, the movie never says at any point that he's using like a text app or he's using Facebook Messenger. They mention Facebook. They don't like say the messenger. So he's clearly using some kind of SNS like text, not an app, not anything like that. He has her phone number in order to contact. Like, they don't say it, but they don't imply that he's using some kind of other app, because they love to shove in the apps in your face. Oh my god, like literally any mention of an app, you're just like, they were paid to say that. Like, randomly, like when they're exploring the different apps on the phone, like they come across this one, and I've never heard of this app, and I bet you nobody else has heard of it. It was a sticker app with like puppies and stuff in it, and I think it's a Japanese app. But literally, I think the only reason it was in there is because someone paid the money and said, yo, stick our app in your film. And that was it. There's like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, freaking Just Dance. I don't know any kid who has Just Dance on their phone. Blinking YouTube. I'm pretty sure I saw the icon for Twitch. Dropbox is a plot point. I'm not lying here. Dropbox is a effing plot point in this film, which just shows how low in the world that we are right now. It is a plot point. And it is just absolutely ridiculous. And obviously, you know, like the different things with like the voice actors and stuff. Freaking Patrick Stewart as the poop. And, you know, they make clips about that, and, oh, ain't it funny, he's literally voicing a piece of, so annoying. It was like, I just slowly losing the will to live watching this film. Just totally uninspired. It's not even, I wish it was one of those films where, say, it's that bad, I could get a laugh out of something. I could maybe get a laugh out of some terrible expression or like something going on in the background or anything like that. But no, it is just so bland. It is so pointless. It is totally dated. It's one of those films that definitely dates itself. If you stuck this in a time capsule right now, you would perfectly sum up the date of this like era. Is absolutely, and like, don't get me started on their attempt at feminism in this film. My god, that was the most, like, I don't even want to talk about it, because it's that annoying and stupid. It makes me so angry. What they tried to do, give the film a feminist slant, and I was just sat there thinking, this is what we've devolved to. This is what we've devolved to in cinema. That Sony thinks that you can get away with this is absolutely atrocious. Like, honest to God, like, and I can't, like, even some of the trailers, like, I admit, the one trailer that they showed before the film, the Winnie the Pooh one, whatever, that was the one film. I feel like the trailers that they showed before the even film started set a precedent for how bad this film was going to go, because like the film, like the trailer beforehand was one about what was it, the Jungle Club, and it was like, so it clearly looked like it was one of those, you know, those films that are clearly made in Brazil or something like that, and that they've tried to English dub over it because the mouths aren't matching up with the voices or whatever. That showed, so clearly that's showing some quality right there. And then previously, before that, they were showing a Peter Rabbit film. Well, guess who's going to be in that? James Corden. And I feel so bad because I loved James Corden as an actor back in the day of Gavin and Stacey. But now he's just hippity hopping, funnily enough, because he's going to be in Peter Rabbit, hippity hopping through Hollywood and all the animated films and steadily getting less and less better. He was alright in Trolls. That film was okay. He only had a minor role. He lowered himself to the Emoji movie so he could play a freaking hand who has the worst dialogue, the worst puns, just the worst characterization. And my god, I can only hope that the Peter Rabbit one is any good, because obviously that is a national treasure, Beatrix Potter to the UK. So James Corden, I hope you better bucken up your ideas here, because literally you're on a slippery slope here. You're on a very, very slippery slope. I can't even think of any other. Well, there was the guy from, I can't even remember the actor's name, the guy from Deadpool or whatever, the main character, Gene. He was okay. His voice literally gave the impression of a meh emoji, so I guess he suited the role. But like, you know that way where it's like, it was like none of the dialogue he actually had to say was like anything like substantial or anything like that. So I can't even say that it was like anything interesting. He mainly just walked around going, I need a change, I need to be a meh, I can do all these expressions. It's like, like, if you're such an emoji and you can emote, show don't tell. I don't need to hear it several of the times you can make several faces. It's ridiculous. Freaking, I don't even remember any other substantial voice actors or whatever, because I literally could not tell. Everyone just sounded the same. And like their freaking piracy, oh my god, piracy app filled with trolls, whatever. It was like the lamest attempt at trying to convey something like in the current era. Freaking troll, why are trolls sitting on the phone in the first place? Why? They're on the internet, they're not on the phone. It's like, oh my god, it's just, this film just makes me so frustrated. I can't like go on forever like talking about this film, honestly. I can already see in like the camera here, I'm nearly at 13 minutes talking about this film, and even then I haven't even said anything substantial. I basically told you everything that happens in the film, and that took me 12 minutes essentially. That's all you needed. You don't need to sit there for like barely an hour to like watch paint dry in motion, essentially, is what this film is. My advice to anyone is, don't pay to see it. Don't pay, even if you think that you're like being ironic or anything, like, don't pay to see it. Be like me, pay nothing to see it. If you've got some kind of membership thing where you don't need to pay, or frick, I don't care, like, wait till it's freaking on, I don't know, Netflix or something, or some shovelware app or whatever, or piracy app that probably didn't make it in the film, because obviously it's like, Sony don't want to promote you pirating things, do they? No, even though they have a piracy app in the damn film. But anyway, guys, this has been me ranting, not even like basically reviewing, just basically it's me telling you, don't waste your time with this film. I wasted my time with this film. That's an hour I'm never getting back in my life. I could have been doing something productive. I could have like sat outside and stared at pigeons. That would have been more productive than me sitting through the Emoji movie. So until next time, guys, I hope I can see you all later.